Doomsday 3.
We're in Doomsday 1. He came from one of the toughest areas of the nation. Most of his friends,
you got people on the defense talking about it. You better get your ass to ball. You better get your ball.
I just got to over Dallas Cowboys. Well,
for sure, they would have thrown it off because
and then I go to bed every night like, hey, man, I promise you that What is up, Cowboys Nation? Mike Tag here. Hope you had a great weekend. We're going to get this thing rolling. Had a lot of stuff. Not a lot of football stuff going on the weekend, but obviously March Madness. We'll get into that. I made a few bets to try and make this interesting. Took some advice from Uncle Cheech, no parlays, anything like that. So if you're just tuning in, man, welcome. We got a lot to get to. Gonna have some fun. And Jimmy, how are you doing today, my friend? How was your weekend?
Doing well, man. Had a good weekend. Chill, low key. And just hung out with the family. Vince, what's going on? Cut. Doug, how's it going, man?
Yeah,
hopefully everybody had a good weekend.
Getting the crew in, but it kind of seems fitting that you got the NWO shirt on because you're kind of wondering what's going on, and I always like having these conversations with you because you're unbiased. You got no dog in the fight, no skin in the game. What's up, Mike? And everything with the Cowboys. So it's really getting kind of heated within Cowboys Nation with frustration over the Joneses. So now Jerry Jones is he was backpedaling a little bit on the all-in. He said, we need to do more with less. He was just saying some weird stuff. I mean, he's an old guy. So you really can't. I'm not going to hold everything he says. But then Stephen Jones, they're talking about the draft and he's saying, well, we've never been active in free agency. Free agency isn't done. There's that wave of. And there are some players left out there. So there's all of this that they keep talking about. And it's almost like they'd be better off just shutting up and just stay out of the limelight. But they can't do that. That's what the Joneses are all about. They want to be relevant. But unfortunately, they're in the process of wanting to be relevant. They're kind of making us irrelevant in the football field because we hadn't won a Super Bowl in so long. So I understand all the frustration. Hey, man, I'm a Cowboy. I bleed silver and blue. There's really nothing I can do. I'm too late, right, Jimmy? I mean, there's no turning back. There's no turning back. But so I and I think I talked to you about it and I put it on there and it's like, hey, if you guys want to send a message, if Cowboys Nation is really mad and wants to send a message, I get all this. And the reason I brought it up is I get the messages about, hey, you're going to the games. You're part of the problem. You're buying merch. You're part of the problem, which that ain't, that's a pimple on the ass in the grand scheme of things. And the way people need to understand who don't know the way season ticket work, I have to pay a season seat license. So if I don't pay the seat license, I forfeit everything on my season tickets. So all the years I've been building up this seat license, right? I forfeit it all just because I want to take a stand and not show up to a game. So that's not going to happen. I can sell my tickets, and then someone like Jimmy's going to go when the Falcons are there, right? You can enjoy the ambiance. You can enjoy the Miller Lighthouse. You can enjoy all the good stuff that goes with it, right?
Miller Lighthouse is the best.
That's right. So
the pregame at AT&T.
So I said, well, look, man, if you guys are really, if you're that into it and you're that hey, this is what we're going to, we need to send a message. I said just simply, you're going to go to the game. I enjoy going. Jimmy, we tailgate. We have a good time. We're hanging with Cowboys Nation.
Yeah.
Doug and Troy and Cuts is in the pit mixing it up, giving us some grub. I enjoy that. That's what my weekend's about. The game is that's icing on the cake. That's what I'm, But if you want to send a message, I'm down. And if we want to start it, what I said is you wait till the game starts, and about 5 or 10 minutes of the game, everyone just gets up and walks to the parking lot. And let's just have a party in the parking lot and let all the networks talk about where did everyone go, and let the networks talk about why is everyone in the parking lot. Let ESPN dog them, because the only way you're going to get anything back at billionaires, you ain't going to hurt them financially. Trust me, they got plenty of money. Ain't going to matter. You got to embarrass them. You got to hurt their ego. That's what it's all about. So what do you think, Jimmy? I said that. Am I crazy? Is it, I love the Cowboys. So it doesn't make me less of a fan. I'm just saying if you guys want to do this, that's an option.
No, well, first of all, if I'm a Cowboys fan, like I said, I'm pissed. The Joneses did nothing. Now they're running their mouth, right? There should have been no shucking, no jiving, just business. They should have been at the free agent table signing, especially a running back, and taking care of their business. But, I agree with you. You're not going to hurt them. People are going to go to the games. That's an embarrassment. That sends a message, right? That is going to be all over, the front of every headline, every, sports show, all the talking heads, especially the haters. That's all they're going to be talking about. And right, that's a kick to the nuts. That's a bruise to the ego. And like I said, you're not hurting the Joneses. They got great accountants. Trust me, they're paying as little taxes as they could. They're maximizing the income. But a kick to the nuts, a little bruise to the ego, that's going to hurt a lot worse.
Yeah, that's going to be embarrassment.
100%.
And Mike, I don't know all the ranges, but let's just say maybe, and someone else can help me on if anyone's in the 400 level, 300 level. I think it ranges anywhere from $8,000 a seat to where if you get for the seat license for the seat, or up to $35,000 if you get into some other premium seats. So per seat license, then of course you have your seats. And hey, I tell people it is what it is, man. My tickets are $450 a game each.
Damn.
So, I mean, it's an investment on mine, but it's my entertainment dollars. I'm not rich by any stretch, but hey, man, I do well enough where I can afford to go to a few games. But I sell the games. I'm honest.
Yes.
I sell the games that I can't go. I go to 3 or 4 games more if I can do it. I save my points. I use credit cards to give me hotel points. I use credit cards to get me flight points. I use all of that kind of stuff to try and get it. So if you budget it right, it's not so bad. And it's my entertainment dollars. It's what I like to do. I take my kid to a game. My wife and I go to a game. Friends and I go to a game. So to me, that's how I want to spend my entertainment dollars. But, so I get the frustration, but what are you supposed to do, man?
No, it's kind of like on airplane. Remember, you got to stretch your food dollar, right? So in this case, you got to stretch your sports dollar, and you do it
in the monsoon months.
In the monsoon months, that's so. No, but you're right, though. I mean, first of all, right, the way you have it, you sell your games, you do this and that, and that's a smart move anyway. But you want to go have fun, like you said. It's the best part is before the game with the crew. Yeah. That is the best part. And then obviously you hope your team wins, except when they're Mercedes-Benz, when I hope they lose.
We are going to win that. You got to understand, I haven't seen them lose. These eyes, I like to say, haven't walked out disappointed in a very long time. It was San Francisco, or no, wasn't San Francisco. Was it Tampa opening day, Brady, whatever year that was? I think that was the last home loss I saw, or last loss I saw, because they won season. The other ones.
Yeah. But to your point, that is exactly what you do, right? You walk out. It's a walkout. You know what? And I think Cut said it best. Once the first punt of the game, when the Cowboys have their, give up the ball on a punt, that's when you walk out. And that'll make a statement, and everybody's going to see it. Yeah, it was Tampa week 1 last season.
That's what it was. Yeah. So I mean, it's been a long time, but the thing is I'm trying, and maybe you can, Jimmy, that's why you're here. You're fair. Yeah, you got the coffee. You're sitting there. I'm waiting to get on the chair, and maybe Cowboys Nation, if you guys are hanging into this as well, maybe Jimmy can be the voice of reason. But look at it. I want to look at it from the lens of they've never been real active. I don't think they had to be super active in free agency. What I wanted to see is them sign strategically. I wanted them to get some dogs in here, especially on defense. I have no beef with really who they lost so far, but I'm just upset that they haven't replaced anybody. So their thought is relax. That's what they say. Free agency isn't done yet. There's still a lot of players out there. You got the draft and filling in the pieces and da-da-da. I mean, is that lip service? I mean, is there any validity to it? I mean, people say, why be hopeful? I mean, this team still had, I don't know how many all pros this year. And I'm not going to talk Pro Bowls. I'm talking about all pros. I mean, you had a quarterback that was second in the MVP. You had a wide receiver that was in the running for offensive player of the year. That was probably one of the top wide receivers in the NFL. You had a defensive pass rusher that was in for defensive player of the year. You're getting back Diggs, who was one of the better cornerbacks in the league. So you've got, I mean, this team isn't like the cupboard's bare. I mean, it's not like Vegas still has them as the favorites in the NFC East.
Well, you guys are going to win the NFC East. That's a foregone conclusion in my opinion.
Foregone, okay.
Foregone conclusion.
Jimmy Stradamus is speaking his mind.
Exactly. But you know what, though? There's no reason you guys shouldn't have addressed the running back. That's what you needed to address. You needed to address it last season because everybody, even leading into the season, as great a season that Dak Prescott had last year, and I mean, he had a phenomenal season. You didn't have. You need that two-headed running back situation. You didn't have it. Right now, you have an unproven running back situation.
Yeah.
They should have been out there taking care of their business.
No, absolutely. And I see some people on Instagram, they commented. I can't comment on Instagram through here. So if you're watching us, I can see the comments, but I can't comment. Flip on over to YouTube and come hang with your boys. That way we can hear you. Plus, we're going to throw a phone number out there if you guys want to call in. It's kind of a quiet day. So if you guys want to vent some frustration on the Cowboys or really anything else, we'll throw that up there as well. Just be patient with us with the phones because I'm the board op on top of it. But look, looking at the Cowboys and really the NFC overall, do you see? I mean, with the moves that are made, do you see a big separation going on in the NFC? I see just the gap closing with all these teams. I see Atlanta made some moves. Yes. Atlanta's going to be a team that, hey man, they got some young guys. They get the Kirk Cousins. That's what they needed. Their defense was pretty stout last year. If they added, they added a few more pieces, do some stuff in the draft, they could be a team that can move into the playoffs next year. Teams like that.
Right, and that's the thing. And you got to remember, first of all, we're going to win our division. The NFC South is slim, easy taken. It should be ours for the taking, right? Especially with the pickups we've had in the offseason. But as far as I don't think there's any clear separation. I think that you're not your wild cards per se, but your wild cards, figuratively speaking. What do Green Bay and Detroit do next season? That's what I'm looking at. What happens to them? I mean, Detroit, how do you come back from that?
Do you think they're going to take a step back or do you think because they're young? They're young.
Okay. So the season before they finished out strong, winning like 5 or 6. Then they came on, made the playoffs and just had, they kind of had Kyle Shanahan like call offensive play call, high school play call in the second half, right? And if that doesn't happen, they're going to the NFC or they're going to the Super Bowl, right? Yeah. So how do they bounce back? Like you said, a young team like that, culture gets back to what's the culture going to do to get them back? So it's them in Green Bay. I don't think they're pulling away. Question is, how strong are they this year, right? Yeah. San Francisco. I see Ayuk's looking for his way out because he's pissed. He ain't getting the ball enough, but that isn't a deal breaker, right? Yeah. So no, I don't see any teams running away with anything right now.
See, that's why I just don't. I mean, you still, for the Cowboys speaking, they still got one of the top, if not the top quarterback in the NFC. I mean, he was second in MVP. Playing well in the playoffs is the Achilles heel. But I mean, the defense has got to play too. The thing that concerns me is when the Jones are saying more with less. So, I mean, are they basically going to set Dak up to kind of where everything's going to fall on his shoulders? And that's the part that, and then they hadn't signed him. I mean, I've said it, Jimmy, on our show. Remember, we said, what do we want to see the next week, next time we talk? And I think pretty sure I said, get some of these contracts done to make you feel a little better. And they've done zero. There hadn't been zero done all week. But hey, in the chat to Doug's question, I'll be in Carolina. I don't know if Jimmy's going, but your boy will be in Carolina. That'll be an easy trip for me.
And Mike, I think you're right about Pitts. I mean, he finally with Kirk Cousins, he goes off, and then I'm telling you, I'm hyped about this season. And to the point, okay, the Cowboys are the Yankees, right? It's the same thing, the same level, the same hate, the same. Atlanta, I mean, let's be honest, we've never had that national exposure. Right? The biggest exposure we got was 28-3. And that's get out of here with that. But Arthur Blank has been a dedicated owner now for 24 years. And he'll do what he has to do to get things done. And look, he went out, spent the money, he was cool with it, and that's what I like. He took care of his business and got us into a spot where I think, hey man, we might make a run this upcoming season. So
no, you play our division though, right? So you're playing NFC East, which is going to be better. I mean, I think Washington will be a little bit better. The Giants will be a little bit better. So
Giants ain't even gonna have Daniel Jones week 1. His ACL ain't gonna be ready by then. So
that might not be a bad thing for them.
You got a point. But yeah. So and that's the thing is I'm just shocked that just again the ego hit, whether it's a walkout after the first punt, or it's this where they're taking a lot of heat from Cowboys fans on social media and on regular media. That's a kick in the nuts.
Well, I think, and I want to get to Mike. I'm going to get to your question because we're going to talk a little bit about some of the rule stuff, and the thing is it's disappointing. It's like the only way I could equate it, or really kind of summarize it, is there was just such a bad feeling after that game. I mean, that was I've said it. I wasn't in the corner crying by any stretch, but that was the most disappointing Cowboys loss I think I've ever witnessed. And not because the score, and it's just everything that you felt in that season. You're at home where you hadn't lost. You were the number 2 seed. So much was kind of setting up for the Cowboys to really have a special, run in the playoffs. And it got destroyed. I mean, it wasn't even close. I mean, it was over before you knew it, kind of thing. And everyone was shell shocked. So you want to just blow everything up and you need something to feel good. It's like I was telling my brother was asking me today. He's like, man, I really talked to you about it. I mean, what's your take on all this stuff? And it's like, just like Dan Quinn. I mean, they let him hang around. He should have been fired the next day. You knew he was going to be looking for a coach. He didn't have that defense prepared. He didn't have a game plan prepared. Now, I'll put it on the players, of course. I mean, they're ultimately out in the field, but he did not put them in any position to be successful, changing some of the schemes and doing what he should have been fired because you knew he was going to be gone anyway. Should have been fired. They let it drag out. They let all these things kind of just drag out, and it just sends a bad message. And the same thing with free agents. You wanted something, man. Get me something that make me feel good. We couldn't stop the run. Get me a run stopper. They go ahead and let Hankins go, which fine. Okay, you let Hankins go, and then you see what he signed for. It's like $2 million a year. He was our only true, solid defensive tackle for the, stopping the run. And he signed for $2 million. Signed for nothing.
Peanuts
is what
right. Pocket change to the world champ.
I mean, it's terrible. So it's just frustrating. But hey, I missed it. Let me see. What do you think about that hip drop tackle that they're doing on the defense now?
Well, I mean, it's funny they're talking about rule change, and to me, the other rule change, and we'll get to that in a second, the hip drop. What about the rule change? And we kind of touched on this, and they've amended it since 2 weeks ago or last week, whenever we were talking about the kickoffs, right? The kickoffs where the kicking team gets to line up on the 40-yard line of the receiving team. They can't move until the ball hits into some zone, the safe zone or some crap like that. It's a bizarre situation. And it's all, again, player safety, just like the hip drop. Player safety. Everything's player safety, which we all know is a bunch of this right here.
But is that player safety? Because and correct me if I'm wrong, because I've been kind of out of it with some of these rules, but they changed the rules on kickoff because of player safety. They didn't want them returning it, right? So that's why they gave it to you to 25. And now it almost seems like they're putting you in a position where they want you to return the ball.
Well, and to Troy saying they didn't pass it. I thought it was still up for vote.
Oh, they didn't pass that one?
Well, okay. So, but that's the thing, right? Because if you look, the return yards overall each season are down like 50% in the last 6-7 years or whatever it is. So they've managed to cut that down because they said, oh, well, it's too fast. Doug, my Rangers took care of the Panthers. We took care of the Bruins. We're taking care of our business. We're coming for Carolina tonight. We're coming for you, sucker. Anyway, but yeah, but that's the thing. So they tinker with these rules and player safety. Oh, the kickoffs are too quick and they're too fast. And that's where all the high speed collisions go. I mean, you know what? At this rate, just put the ball on the 20. Don't even have a kickoff.
Well, that's what I was saying. Just have each team start at the 20 and be done with it.
Yeah.
I mean, you had a ton of touchbacks last year, or put at the 25 if that's the way to put it on, and just save us the Nothing pisses me off when they come out of a TV timeout, kick a ball off, and do a touchback, and then have another TV timeout. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I mean, really? I mean, that's what we're doing here.
Because again, it has nothing to do with. That's probably what they're doing. They're finding more ways to get commercial time in there.
That's
right?
all.
I mean, it's all posturing. It's all about the dollar. That's right. But the hip. Hey, Troy, I know we'll get to hockey in a little bit. Dallas Stars, man, strong team. That they got the Avs and the Vegas all up there in the top of that division. So you better watch. It's a good division. It's strong, man. Dallas Stars are a great team. But getting back to the hip drop tackle. I mean, again, everything is safety, player safety, player safety. I mean, that is banned. Troy's saying the hip. Okay, so they passed one and didn't pass the other.
Yeah, the hip one, I know they passed.
Yeah. So,
but hey, not to change the subject, but my son sent me a message. Did you see P. Diddy? They raided his houses.
Really, I didn't.
Yeah.
Is that fresh? Is a news flash? I didn't see that.
No, that's just happened. It was happening now, like an hour ago or something. They're possibly sex trafficking, things like that. So it's kind of like what was that dude who killed himself in jail?
Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah,
it's kind of, they say it's kind of like something like that. So
that's crazy.
It's a serious deal. But I mean, just So that
hell's wrong with these people? That's
the world's crazy, man. This world's getting crazier and crazier. That's why I said, man, we can't. I mean, those are real. Situations. Yes. We're sitting there debating, the Cowboys need to sign somebody or something, getting all pissed off about we need to not show up to the game and sell my tickets. Pay a lot for these tickets, man. I want to go. I
don't want to change.
Now that's what I'm saying. I like who I am, man.
I like my seats. Going to the game.
Get hyped for the game, and that's the thing. I'm going to be hyped for the season because and that's the hard thing is. I love the players, man. They put it out there. They bust their ass, and people can say whatever they want, but man, these guys are putting it on the line. Injuries and everything to try and win a championship. And I know they want to win. I mean, you can't tell me that Dak and Parsons and these guys don't want to win. And any other team, man, they want to win. They're not going out there just to showboat, man, or just kind of just for show and get their ass whooped. So I always say you got to win in spite of Jerry. Sometimes you just got to win in spite of him, and that's what this team's got to do. So I always support him. I don't care who it is. I just would, you want to feel a little bit better. You want to feel a little bit better, and I hate to see Cowboys Nation just so negative. Now maybe it's a Twitter thing. Maybe it's just a Twitter thing that the negativity just runs deep there. But I don't know.
Well, it gets back to the culture thing. I forget who it was. One of your guys before the Packers game was having a pregame celebration for the win. You didn't even, game wasn't even played yet. Or like you said, Quinn, what was a 40-something spot dropped on him? Should have been the next day to fire me. I'm already fired. That's what he should have been saying the next day when they knew he was leaving. So if you know he's leaving, make the statement and say you're out of here. And it was going to happen anyway.
No, so that's what I say. It would have made us feel better. But like, I agree, Mike. I said it, man. We need dogs. That's what I said. They didn't need to go out and sign all these big overpriced guys and this and that, but just bring in some guys that got some dog in them that just has that kind of, that swag, and I'd be fine with it. And, could they still do it? Sure. There's some guys out there. They could still do it. I'm just trying to I guess the thing for me is, what are they doing with Dak? Are they going to extend them? Or are they going to have them just play out a year? And if you're going to have them play out just 1 year, are you going to get some free agents, or are guys going to be like, well, I don't know where this team's going. I'm not, I ain't down for no rebuild. You know what I mean? I'm a veteran. I want to go somewhere. A lot of times you get to the point now, free agency, these guys are going to be bargains. They're not going to be getting what Justin Simmons isn't going to get what he was getting paid in Denver. He's going to end up signing a 1-year deal. So these guys are going to look for where can I best optimize my opportunity to get another contract. And by doing that, the best way to do it is to get on a team that's going to be in the playoffs, that has a shot at the Super Bowl. And if if the Dallas is going to ride with a quarterback on the last year of the contract, they're just going to be thinking, well, this is just going to be constant distraction. Why should we, why should we go ahead and do that? So I just think it's going to be a problem.
That's a distraction. Just like the Aaron Judge contract year was a distraction up here. And not only that, he's got enough. Dak Prescott, you guys are going to make the playoffs, but each year it's something with him.
I hope, man. But the media, man. If he sits there and he's on his last year, that is going to be a question every freaking day.
Right. But the thing is, you don't want him going into the playoffs already with that on his shoulders from the last couple of years, going in, no contract, going into the playoffs, and that's what he's worried about. That's a problem.
Yeah. And it's and in a questionable running game, which I was reading that it looks like Brian Broaddus said that they've got their eyes Dallas has their eyes on Brooks from Texas, coming off an injury. I kind of hate that. The McCarthy, I guess, was up at, I think his name is Corum. Hopefully, maybe I said it right, from Michigan, the running back. They said McCarthy had him doing some stuff at the pro day. So maybe, there's smoke and mirrors on on all this stuff. I know Trey Benson, Florida State running back, he's been kind of linked to the Cowboys. So those are the three running backs. I know some people talk about the Wisconsin running back. He's a big dude. So they're going to have to address the running game. They're going to have to, they're going to have to do that in the draft. And the thing is they got to hit a triple or a home run with their running back, because they don't have really anything else. I mean, Rico is, he was good in some spots, but he didn't show anything that made you say, oh man, he's the man that's going to, throw it all on him.
I mean, you look at us, we got lucky picking Algier, right?
Yeah.
And he had 1,200. Then all of a sudden we get Bijan. I mean, so we lucked out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you guys, look, I don't know about college football. Tyler Algier, I didn't know better. He ended up, for 1,200 yards rushing.
No, and that's the thing with running backs, right? They can have that.
Yeah, and then we get Bijan. You guys told me he's going to be great, and he was, even though he got screwed over a few games. I'm still trying to figure out what that was all about. But we go into the season with two strong running backs.
No,
and we got lucky out of the draft with it.
Yeah, and you need two running backs, and again, Mike, if you know who they are, you let me know, because I don't know. I thought it was Tank, and then the comments obviously at the end of the season didn't really jive well with that. So that's the problem. Like I said, I just don't think they have vocal leaders. That's what I was hoping they were going to get, because like I said, the leaders don't have to be the best players on the team. They have to be the ones that are most respected, the guys that players look up to, listen to. And what round did you get out in?
I don't know.
Jimmy's
I'd have to look. I think it was third. I think it was third round. I don't know much about college football. I just know who we drafted. I'll let everybody else tell me how good it was.
You tell them how great it was.
Yeah, I'm gonna look. So,
well, check it out, and then March Madness. I don't know if you guys were watching some of the basketball. I went ahead and I took Uncle Cheech's advice. No parlays. I went 3-1 on Saturday, but 0-2 on Sunday. So I got a couple games next week. 5th round.
Yeah.
So Algiers in the 5th round. So I had a couple good wins, and I had to send an apology, a formal apology on Twitter, because my son, he picked the first 3 games, and we lost the first one. We did 4. And then we were losing the second one, and I kind of was giving him a lot of crap. And then I think it was the Michigan State, North Carolina game, because he told me to take North Carolina and given 4.5. So I did that, and then North Carolina covered. Texas didn't win, right, but they covered. And then Creighton ended up winning for me. So had a nice day at the office, and then Sunday kind of shit the bed a little bit, just to be honest. So we got some other stuff going, but I tell you, did you see the number 3 seed Kentucky lost?
I just want to take one step back. I see Camel Piper on here. One step back to football, if that's okay. Our favorite 49ers fan. What about Ayuk talking about he wants out of San Francisco because he's not getting touches enough? That's I'd like to know Camel Piper's thoughts on that, because he was groveling about that this past weekend. And Jimmy, the Raw set tonight's gonna be different. Yeah, Dynamite changed their set 2 weeks ago, so I'm not surprised. But anyway, 3rd seed Kentucky, you said, loses. That's the men's
third seed loss, and yeah, the Wolfpack's still hanging around. So the Wolfpack. Not the Wolfpack who's got my back, Jack. You know what I'm talking about? We're talking about NC State. They were playing Texas Tech. So, our man Kelly K9, we know he's Texas Tech. And I had beers with Doug last week when I was in Carolina. So we had a chance to catch up, and yeah, they were talking about this game, and NC State put it on Texas Tech, and that was the end of them. And I guess they're still hanging around. So I would ask Doug, I'm trying to find who they playing Who are they playing in the Sweet 16? I need some intel. They're playing Marquette, probably underdogs. What are you thinking, Doug? What should I do? Should I bet? Should I ride with State getting the points, or should I just take Marquette and lay the points? That's the way I do things. I don't play the money line, anything like that. So I need some intel to take Marquette.
Marquette. All right.
Okay.
Well,
If the NC State guy, he's living in Carolina, tells me to take the other team, I got to trust him.
see, I don't know nothing about college sports, so you guys, I mean, this is all I do know. Wait a minute. Camel Piper said it's mind games.
What is he
John-
thinking? He's just posturing?
That's it's all posturing. John Lynch ain't going to trade him. All right. Well,
He could be disgruntled.
yeah,
He could be
disgruntled employee.
You don't want
right?
a disgruntled employee. So,
But
but yeah,
but you know
so-
what? Speaking of, did you see that? And again, I don't know much. I did read though that they kicked a ref out, dismissed a ref at halftime of one of the women's games because of a conflict of interest.
What was the conflict of interest?
Something to do with she played in the same division when she played with one of the players who were in the game. Some bizarre, whatever it was some kind of some relationship from way back in the day. So at halftime, they said, you're dismissed, and they replaced the ref at halftime because of a conflict of interest.
They have backup refs sitting there. I didn't even know they did.
Yeah, neither did I.
They pull someone out of the stands, put a little shirt, put a jersey on. Is that what they did?
Yeah,
Put them out there. Yeah.
Like on Little Nicky. Yeah.
And there's money involved, so I need Doug to clarify. He's saying I take NC State in the points. Is that what you're saying over Marquette? So not Marquette. I'm going to take the points. So I need to make sure this is there. And I'm putting my money where your mouth is. So you better be right. That's all I got to say. You better be right. Don't give me no bad advice. I need to make sure I win.
Exactly. We're here to provide information to everybody to help secure their sports dollar.
Yeah. We want to make sure. But when you're watching, like college basketball, and I don't bet big money. I just kind of just throw a few bucks here and there just for fun. And if I can, all right. So I'm going to trust you, Doug. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to trust Doug. He's a friend. He's a Cowboys Nation. We hang out, have good times. He's not. I don't think he would ever lead me astray into a bad predicament and cost me money. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do, Jimmy.
Well,
what do you think about that?
No, you know what? Anything to make money. I'm surprised Uncle Cheech, he's kind of in and out of college basketball.
He's not into college. He's all football, college football, professional football. He'll do some, he likes the boxing. He keeps up with that, that kind of stuff. But basketball is not the easiest to bet because the points, you know what I mean? It's like, it's tough. It's tough, but
Baylor cost Troy yesterday.
Yeah.
Oops,
Baylor,
sorry.
Yeah. Whoops. Sorry about that.
So Troy, it's CM Punk. Oh, yeah, CM Punk. Well, hopefully he doesn't turn into a cancer yet again for the third time. WWE, then AEW, and back to WWE. And look at I wish him well. I know he gets hurt a lot, but whatever.
And let me get some advice from my trusted the trusted people here. So I've got Northwest. No, did I lose that one? I finished that one. Sorry, I lost that one. Let's see, upcoming. So far, I bet Tennessee -2.5 over Creighton. Is that should I back out of that, or am I good for that one? That's the game I currently have. Is there any other? I always like Gonzaga Purdue. I don't know what people think about that. Clemson, Arizona's out there. North Carolina, Alabama. There's not a lot of. Which one?
Temple.
Temple's out there.
Same old Temple. I don't know.
No, it's interesting. NC State's an 11 seed to Marquette. You got Iowa State, Illinois. UConn is destroying everybody. They're playing San Diego State. I mean, that would be an interesting. But San Diego State destroyed Yale. But UConn beat a team 91-52 and then 75-58. And then you got Houston and Duke. And so I don't know what else. What other game catches the eye for my basketball people that I should be handicapping? Who's that? Help me out here.
You guys.
UNC will beat Bama. Will they cover? That's the most important thing. We got to make sure not only beat them, but they got to cover.
Doug and Troy seem to have the handle on the college basketball. So we're looking at them right now for some answers.
Looking for advice and the way things go. So what else, as we're doing that, is what other things are going on in, I saw Lynch said Ayuk's not available for trade. The New York Giants, their owner is supporting if they get a quarterback, if there's an opportunity to get a quarterback high in the draft to do it, even though they paid, even though they paid
Daniel Jones. It's
yeah,
ridiculous, right?
and Jim Harbaugh is coming out saying McCarthy's, his guy is a top quarterback in the class, so obviously he's going to support him. Well, I think he has a top, if he feels that he could draft him, if he feels that strongly about him, why don't you draft him? We'll see what Harbaugh does, or is that just lip service?
It's probably lip service, but I know what I wanted to bring up at some point.
Ohtani?
This thing with yes, this thing with Ohtani. Yes, because that is some crazy shit. I'm still trying to figure that out. Bama's defense.
Did he get, I mean, it's all, I only read a little bit, and then I was talking to my brother about it on the way to work today. So his interpreter was making the bets.
His interpreter was allegedly stealing money from Ohtani to place bets.
But they showed Ohtani transferred like $1 million or $4 million.
Right. So who's BS and who? And not for nothing. Then there was something came out that Ohtani might have been throwing games. Now in baseball, it's tough to throw a game. I mean,
not when you're a pitcher, though, is it?
Yeah, I guess when you're a pitcher, that's true. That you got to.
Let's check the stats. See if maybe he was grooving one, maybe, or hey, maybe he was tipping the pitches to the hitters, like
could be.
Maybe he was telling the catcher to let him know the fastball is coming, like in Bull Durham.
I'm telling, it's a bizarre. I mean, and think about it. He just signed for that huge contract. Then you got all this crazy stuff coming out. And the best part was, and and I'm reading verbatim here because this is the funny part, right? It gets back to the hypocrisy. It's all sports, right? So there was a post on one of the big networks. Welcome back to Sports Center, presented by ESPN Bet. For more on the Ohtani situation, we go to our FanDuel Major League Baseball insider Jeff Passan at our DraftKings studio in Los Angeles. Brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook. I mean,
that's the thing. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
Every damn commercial. I don't care if it's hockey, baseball, football, basketball, even college basketball, college sports is all gambling, right? So Ohtani, look, if he was throwing games, that's another story. That can't happen because that screws up. People are legitimately trying to make money and have financial advisors like Uncle Cheech.
The integrity is being questioned.
Exactly. The integrity of the game, and people like Uncle Cheech, who's an investment advisor who helps people, can't have players throwing games. But if if it's just, and it gets back to the Pete Rose,
Well, did you see the card that someone made? They took a old Pete Rose card and they put Ohtani's face on Pete Rose's card, and his name was Pete Rotani. Like, no. But hey, man, if you're dropping the hammer on Pete, my man Pete, then you can't lose that intensity. You're gonna have to do the same. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, that's just
Yeah. Where's the 80-game suspension? That's what I need to see.
80, that should be a lifetime ban. I mean, that's
a lifetime ban. That's true.
But they're not going to do it. He means too much to the game.
Yes.
He is he's their Michael Jordan. I mean, he's the one where everyone's going to see, and obviously he's got a world influence, especially overseas and things like that. So they're gonna look the other way. They're gonna have the fall guy, and that's gonna be the interpreter. Something's gonna happen, and you know how it is when you get outside this country. There are some places that people disappear, and I think my man might not be found when he gets back to Japan. That's I hate to say that.
First of all, Ohtani should have been in pinstripes. Instead, we got Garrett Cole, who's probably never going to start the season because he's hurt already. But that being said, no, you're right. He's going to be the fall guy, right? And Ohtani's going to come out clean, squeaky clean. Because even if something did happen, they're not going to. They're not going to Pete Rose him. There's no way.
No way.
And so okay, wait a minute. So, like you said, if Ohtani's wire transferring money to the interpreter, what does he think it's being used for? I mean,
there's no way. I mean, he knows.
Of course, he knows.
It don't make it don't make a difference. But hey, I just want to let you guys know real quick while you guys are all into we've got some great shows coming up. So make sure you hit that subscribe, like, share. If you're watching on Twitter, make sure you flip it on over to YouTube. A lot of people ask and say, hey, Mike, man, when you got a draft show? We got to do a draft show. So we got a lot of draft content coming up in the next few weeks. We've got, my man Nix is going to be coming in. We're going to do a live mock draft. So we got to do a 7-round Cowboys mock draft on Thursday with Kelly K9, myself. So we're going to be getting some. So, hey, Jimmy, we're going to educate you a little bit on the draft. Maybe I'll throw a couple Falcons in there for,
need that. Thank you.
So we'll get that done. And then obviously we're going to have a special Tuesday night show. We're going to have Jay Tuck. I'm going to have Jay Tuck and Malik Rozier from the U. Jay Tuck, obviously, great draft wizard, as he likes to say. Knows his stuff, does a lot of homework, puts a lot of work into it. So we're going to talk a little bit about college, maybe the state of college football, kind of where it's at, and
tomorrow,
also get into the draft. So that'll be a special show. I think on Tuesday we'll do coming up. And then Crawford Kerr, Cowboy, coming in April 11th. I'm telling you, he is Kevin Gogan 2.0. Stories he has. He had me rolling with some of his stories that he was talking about. He came from the Landry. He also came into he was part of the Jimmy Johnson changeover, where he was one of the older guys that when Jimmy Johnson came over, that, the Randy Whites and all these guys. So he's got some interesting takes on Jimmy Johnson, thinks a little bit differently of Jimmy, respects him, but has a different take on Jimmy than maybe some other players who, were the younger guys did. So he's going to be on April 11th. He might actually come into the cave. So I might have to move everything over into the cave. He might actually be sitting in the Cowboys cave, hanging out. We got to work it out because he lives right around my area. So it's going to be a lot of fun. The good thing I would say, maybe different than Kevin Gogan, is Crawford still is very in tune to today's game, into the Cowboys. He watches a lot of Cowboys. So he's got a lot of opinions on today's Cowboys. So it'll be very interesting to get his thoughts on it as well. So it's going to be a great show. It's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you guys check that out.
Now, is Jay Tuck and Malik Rozier, is that next Tuesday or tomorrow?
It's not tomorrow. It is. I think it is. Give me a second and I'll look in because I think it's the Tuesday. I think it's the week of that 11th. I think it's a Tuesday after. Let's see. Tuesday. Let me get out. Keep talking, Jimmy.
Okay. So anyway, we were talking about wrestling. It was Troy, you're talking about wrestling tonight. Punk, that whole thing is crazy. The question is, what happens with Cody Rhodes, right? So Cody Rhodes, does he end up beating Roman Reigns is the question. What happens at WrestleMania now? Because they were giving Cody Rhodes all this lip service last year and nothing really happened. Now all of a sudden, he's talking noise, he's talking shit and stepping up a little bit. So I'm wondering if he ends the reign of the world champ coming up.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you handle the wrestling stuff. It is the week of April 8th. So Crawford Kerr is the 11th. So it's whatever that Tuesday is. I don't know if that's the 9th, maybe. So you're going to get a lot of the show. You got Monday, you got Tuesday, you got Thursday, and then Friday, I'm going down to the Hard Rock. I'm going down to Hollywood. I'm hanging out with Big Lou. I want to see the legend status, the icon of the Hard Rock coming in. When the man walks through the casino, it parts like the Red Sea. He gets over by that roulette table and just people gather around to watch him work. So that's what I enjoy doing. We'll watch the man, hopefully win some money, and maybe I can rub a little bit of that off, some of that luck, and win me some money too. So it's going to be a good time.
So Troy, you can see when is that? This upcoming Friday you're going down?
No, that's the 11th. So the 12th, whatever that is.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
So Troy, so Troy, Rock's obviously playing the heel. What is he gonna be, a little outside interference? What are we talking, Troy? But
is Rock in it for the long haul, or not a long haul, but is he in it for a time period, or is he just kind of talking and then kind of going away? Is he wrestling?
That's tough. He's involved right now. He is, and he's legitimately on the board. He's on the board with Endeavor, which is the parent company now. So okay. I don't think and that's the thing. I don't think it's a long haul situation for him. I think he'll kind of be bouncing in and out. I don't think he'll be absent like he has been, but this new heel role he's playing, man, he's shooting for the fence. He's saying some things that's really Remember the Attitude Era with WWE, like back in the day when we were watching.
Yeah.
He's pushing the envelope like that with some shit that is you kind of even. I'm doing the people's eyebrow. I'm like, wow,
I like him as a bad guy, though.
Yes.
I prefer him more as a bad guy than playing the good guy role.
There we go, Troy. Sorry, Bloodline rules, and Rock 2, and that could be the way it plays out. They say Rock is here until WrestleMania 41. All right,
yeah,
and then he'll be gone for a few months. That's what I kind of see is Rock rolling in and out. So
I watch the old wrestling reels, and I watched the one with Andre the Giant. Remember when I think it was WrestleMania 3 when he lost to Hogan, and then Bobby Heenan. Was it WrestleMania 3? Bobby Heenan went in there yelling at him and stuff, and then Andre the Giant grabbed him. The best is it's like Andre was older and he can't slap him hard. Like so, one he totally like missed and it made it look like he hit it. And then the other one he kind of got him a little bit. Then he gave him a chop down and he fell to the ground. And then Haku came in and then Andre the Giant threw him out. It had to be WrestleMania 3 because they had remember it was the cart or the golf cart thing that rode him to the
Silverdome, Pontiac, Michigan, right?
Yeah.
But I was watching, the Dark Side of the Ring. They had Buff Bagwell. Buff is his stuff, right? So and it's crazy with these guys, man, how they get to the top of the food chain and they get involved with, the drugs and the fast life and all that other stuff, and they lose it all. It was a crazy story, and again, you feel badly. I mean, he made his own choices. But then on the flip side, you had the Dark Side of the Ring with John Tenta. Remember Earthquake, and then he was the Shark and all this crap. He was a choir boy. I mean, he was 400 pounds. He wouldn't go partying. He'd go back to the room and just eat, right? And that's what he did. And he ended up dying of cancer.
Did you see the thing on Mr. Fuji?
He was like working at a movie theater or something.
He was a ticket agent in a movie theater. What's up, Mr. Fuji, man?
That's right.
How do they fall? But hey, I just saw Troy put Cuts did a dope thing and hey, Cuts by Jones. I don't know. Maybe he was listening in one of the shows. I kind of said something like, "Man, I need to get a hurricane. I got to get a hurricane cut." I don't know. He posted it. I don't know if you could see it or not. I'll back it up. But he did the two hands, orange and green. He did it. He sent me a text, man. Unbelievable work. I'm going to make sure that I promote the hell out of that on some Kane's pages and stuff. But if you guys need any cuts, any specialized things, man, he does. I mean, the man's an artist. Go to Cuts by Jones. You can find him on any platform. So if you guys are listening on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, wherever you're catching us at, make sure you guys check it out. He does college, pro, basketball players, mascots. I mean, whatever you got, he can do.
For my wife's birthday, I sent Cuts a Polaroid to the family, and what a phenomenal job. She loved it. It's hanging, front and center in the house for everybody to see.
Nice.
So an absolute home run. And like I said, this is not hanging. I bring this. This goes to work with me. I just bring it here for Monday nights.
I thought you'd bring it with you in case you got to bash one of your kids over the head with it. Because
that's actually
nice. I've done that. I've done that.
Great idea. Or I can use it. Sometimes we do some professional wrestling. I might use it for that too.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? So that's what we call a foreign object. It's a foreign object.
Exactly. No Cuts. No, we appreciate it, man. You're an artist, brother.
Oh, that's good. And I mean, he makes when we're tailgating, makes some of the best food. I mean, the food is so good that we go inside the game. It sits under the truck for 4 hours. We get outside, we stick it up there. Lo and behold, some girls start. It was so good. They took one bite. We're like, "Hey, man, that's our food." They say, "No, well, we want this chicken." He said, "Well, start twerking for it if you want that chicken." And they start doing it because it was so good. I mean, that's the kind of chef he is. That's the kind of pit master he is. So. I mean, he's not only a great artist. He's multitasked in so many different ways.
I guess.
Hey, what's up,
so. Chris? How's it going, man?
But yeah, so it's just. I mean, we have a good time kicking, and that's the thing, and that's where I get back to the Cowboys. Is I know people are just so. I mean, I've never seen it this kind of. I don't want to say hate, but just this kind of frustration with the Cowboys in a long time. And, we have fun, man. I mean, I wouldn't have met all these great people if it wasn't going to the games and being part of Cowboys Nation and stuff. So, I mean, that's the hard thing. It's like, hey, yeah, don't show up, don't do this, don't do that. Now I'm hurting me. I'm hurting my, now I'm not seeing my friends and people that I've began, good relationships with. And this is the kind of, we're all from different parts of the country. So this is the common ground that we meet at, whether it be a Cowboy game in AT&T, it's going to be in Atlanta, watching the Falcons and Cowboys. It's going to be Carolina, watching them. If they make it to Tampa one time, of course, we get the crew down in Tampa. I already said I'm thinking about doing like an Atlanta, we'll do a big party in Atlanta. We're going to have to do something, do it right. So we'll think of some stuff. But I mean, that's the kind of thing that, that's what I enjoy, man. So I hold out hope. I'm going to say to Cowboy fans, just give it till August. Let's not burn the bridge yet. Let's just relax. Let's let things play out. The icon, once told me you got to remember the 3 C's, right, Jimmy? The 3 C's. You got to stay cool, calm, and collected. Let's just, keep everything smooth. Come August, if we can have a serious conversation, and let's just say, hey, is this roster capable of winning the Super Bowl? And if the answer is no, then we all riot. Then we all go to, Gary's helicopter, whatever it is. We let them know how we feel. But let's just wait and let things play out a little bit. Let's say, let's just see what happens. Is that fair?
Got to be patient. But you know what? Again, right now, yeah, you got to wait and see how things play out. You know how it goes season to season. You don't know what's going to happen. But I'd still be pissed. There hasn't been many moves made yet.
No.
That doesn't mean you sell the farm.
Yeah.
You know?
It's fair, but it's fair. But let's just, there was around this time last year, it was almost the same temperature. And then they got Gilmore in a trade and they got Cooks. And then all of a sudden it was like everyone was all hyped up. So, hey, I saw, Doug put out Dobbins is still out there. I mean, there's some guys that are still out there. Like I said, we knew they're going to have to draft a running back. You just kind of want that veteran that you'd feel good about, just as kind of, to be part of that two-headed monster to make you feel better. So maybe that happens. Maybe it doesn't. My concern a lot outside of running back, I don't really have much on the offense. Everything for me is on the defense and just more of a mentality than a talent level for them. Is getting that dog mentality. Yeah. ATL is going to be fun. We just got to figure out, we're going to need to get, and I think my man, I think I got a couple guys from Atlanta. So I'm going to have to get with a couple of my Twitter guys on Atlanta that live in Atlanta, because we're going to have to get some hookups and some where do we got to be, the tailgate and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to need some help.
So
don't leave it up to Jimmy, please.
Are you still talking about the cabin?
Maybe. I mean, the cabin is more of a weekend thing. We can't tailgate the day of the game, unless it was a night game or something like that. But I was thinking maybe that might be a center point to, kind of congregate, and then we'll see what happens. But yeah, maybe. But the only thing, it's hard. Like if people are going in and out, it's not the easiest thing, but it may be where I end up staying for the week. I may make a week out of it because I could work in Atlanta. The best scenario for me is if they did Atlanta, Carolina back-to-back. If they could do Atlanta, Carolina back-to-back,
perfect.
That would be the perfect trip for me, because I could work right there. I'd be gone a whole week from home, but I'd be able to it'd be really cool. So.
I don't see him scheduling 2 NFC South road games in a row, but hopefully for your sake, I hope it plays out.
Miami Buffalo. They did Buffalo Miami back-to-back this year.
All right, fair.
Last year.
All right, fair. For your sake, I hope it happens. It'll be very, very convenient. I can bring all the tailgate accessories to the ATL.
Yeah, Doug's got it all. Doug, I mean, you want to talk about, I wish I had to send stuff to, everything's sitting in Mark's garage, my tent, chairs, a cooler, maybe a couple coolers. I don't know what we have left anymore from that first tailgate. But, Doug has a phenomenal setup as well. So, yeah, if he's going to be bringing all that stuff down, we'll have a good time. So it'll be a lot of fun, man. We definitely going to get live in the ATL.
It's going to be a good victory,
and it's a fun
for us. Jimmy sounds excited about the. Yeah, I tell you something. We've had some fun at some of Mike Tag's places that he's been at.
Yeah, we don't want to have no one destroying my shit. That's the only thing. It'll be a limited invite if that happens. It'll be very limited.
Thunder. To all my love slaves out there, Thunder Piss is here.
Well, yeah, we'll tell the story before we. So people who don't know, I moved up to Tampa in '96, and I always say I moved up in February '96. The Cowboys won the Super Bowl in January of '96. It's the last time they won the Super Bowl. So I still have this in the back of my mind that I'm the jinx. I am the reason why the Cowboys hadn't won the Super Bowl, because they hadn't won since I lived here. So when I first moved up here, I was broke, had no money. A girlfriend left me because I was broke. So my buddy moved up, and he hung out with me. He was a bar back and all this and that. And then Jimmy moved up, and then my cousin, he was going to college. Him and his buddy came down for spring. I think it was spring break, right, Jimmy? It had to have been like spring break or summer. I forget.
It was summer. It was summer.
So Jimmy and I were down in Fort Lauderdale. So I left a key under the mat and said, "Hey man, you guys have the place and we'll be back up." And we came back up, and lo and behold is a shopping cart in the middle of the apartment with and then just cases of beer. One day I'll find the picture. I'll show it. I'll bring it on here. We had the Tower of Power. We had this huge, probably 5 foot tall beer tower. And,
no joke.
So one of the nights, my buddy, was there, Jimmy and my cousin and his friend, and we just got hammered. We got hammered to the point we went to a wrestling match. It was WCW back
Monday Nitro.
Yeah, Monday Nitro with NWO. I think it was Ted DiBiase became part of NWO.
Walked right by us. Yes.
Walked right by us. And we were on TV a bunch and this and that. So we were in Manatee Civic Center. We had to go to Ybor, which I would tell you is about an hour drive over one of the biggest, tallest bridges. Definitely the tallest one in Florida, but this huge bridge. Jimmy and I did a match outside in the parking lot, and people were surrounding us. So, long story short, there was a couple friends with us. We took their car where there was nowhere to sit, so we shoved Jimmy into the trunk of the car. Now, I don't want you guys thinking it wasn't like it was an Oldsmobile in that kind of trunk that the mob used to put the people in. It was like a hatchback, but it had a cover, so you couldn't see him, and he was shoved in the trunk. So we left him in a trunk and drove all the way to Tampa from Manatee, a good hour plus drive. Probably not the smartest thing to do as young adults, but that's why I say, thank God there were no cameras, because
that's right.
As I say, who am I to criticize some of these people? So we get out to Ybor, I open the trunk, and Jimmy falls out and is just hammered. And now he's amongst the homeless and kind of mingling with them as, begging for money. He just fits right in.
It was
and
perfect.
We just had a wild time. So we get home. And I had to work. I mean, I was up there working, believe it or not. I mean, I'd party and I would get up, man. People will tell you, I'd get up to work, and I was at my first appointment at 8:00, peddling whatever I was trying to sell at that time. And in the middle of the night, I just heard it felt like rain, or there was something going on. and my buddy had this deep voice, and he's like, "Put your blank back in your pants and go in the bathroom." I guess my cousin's friend, when he drinks, he just pisses everywhere. And so Jimmy's laughing about it. My buddy, I almost said his name. I don't want to say his name. He was he was pissed off. I get up not knowing what the hell's going on. He was pissing all over my demo equipment that I'm trying to do stuff. And it was just a complete mess. But we always would use thunder lifts. We used to love Hogan and all this.
Rocky 3.
Jimmy nicknamed him Thunder Piss. So he's been Thunder Piss 30 years later.
30 some odd years.
Anytime we see him or my cousin, we always say, "How's Thunder Piss doing?"
I was less worried about your demo equipment, more about my Rangers Stanley Cup hat was right below it. I reached under his nuts, pulled it out slowly. I'll tell you, see, poor Mike. First of all, he was the first one of us who had big enough balls to go out and take care of his business. I'm like, 1 week he's there, and the next week he's moved to Tampa, right? So we go visit him, and he's trying to do the right thing. He's calling, setting some appointments, trying to make a few bucks, right? And then we'd go up there, and we would say, "Never mind that. Let's do some crank calls, or let's go out and get smashed the night before." So one night I was up there. I don't forget who else was there. I just remember we went out the night before, you, me, and whomever. And I think that might have been the night I got kicked or asked to leave the Turtle Club. I think it was that night. But anyway, Long story short, I don't remember getting back to Mike Tag's apartment. All of a sudden, I wake up, I look at the clock. I had a flight to catch to get back to Fort Lauderdale, and it's in like 35 minutes. Mike Tag's place is across the bridge, and it's not a short bridge. So I'm like, holy shit. So I'm just throwing stuff in the suitcase, right? So somehow I make this flight. I'm not exaggerating. Mike had to be doing 115 across the bridge. So I get back. I land in Lauderdale, and a good friend of ours picks me up from the airport, and I walk out, and he looks at me, Jimmy, you stink. So obviously I didn't shower. I didn't have time.
Imagine the poor people sitting next to you on the flight. That's all I can think of.
Yeah. So I get back. He drops me off. Now I open the suitcase. I'm missing a shoe. So I got one shoe. I'm missing all sorts of articles of clothing, and it's just crazy. We had so many good times up there, and again,
it was fun. I mean, we've had a few. I mean, Kelly and I, and Cuts and Doug. I mean, we're starting to get some stories. They're not as we're getting a little older, so it's harder. But every now and then, man, it's like I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as Toby Keith song
as I ever was. Yes,
yeah. So that's kind of every now and then, and Atlanta might be that time. Atlanta game might be where you might get a little old school Jimmy. You might get a little old school Jimmy out there, and yeah. So,
oh boy,
yeah, that's what happens. You get me in trouble now. They get me in trouble. So,
well, you know what? You got to get. Maybe we'll get Camel Piper out there. Like a Camel Piper, our favorite 49ers fan. I see him often. He lives right up the street. Best guy, best family.
Yeah.
And
we love. I mean, if you're down for a good time, man, I don't care what team you root for.
We've got a few stories up here that it's like shit. But again, we're good about not putting out on the social media and all this. But imagine when we were back in the day, if it was us, when we had social media, it'd
be over. It'd be over.
Yes,
it'd be over. Yeah. And that's that's a tough thing. But yeah, I mean that's again, these are memories you make, and in Cowboys Nation, you're doing these, we're having a lot of fun, and those are the memories. I could tell we could share a bunch of stories about that. So that's what it's all about at the end of the day, man. I want believe me, I want a damn Super Bowl. It's been way too long, but if I had to trade the Super Bowl for the friends I've made and this and that, man, I can deal without one for a few more years longer. Let's just say, maybe not forever, but hey, we are going to wrap it up. But I'm saying we got 182 plus people chilling with us on a Monday night. So I want to first say thank you. 183, It's going up. So if you guys are watching on Twitter, make sure, man, do me a favor. It don't cost you a nickel. It don't cost you a dime. Flip on over to YouTube and just hit that subscribe. Hit the like, leave a comment, interact with us. It helps the algorithm, it helps everything out in the channel, supports it, and you don't have to do anything. That's all I ask. If you guys do your boy a solid there, I'll never ask you for another favor. And we have some good giveaways. I've got some stuff coming up as soon as we get the season going. I've been collecting some autograph stuff from some of our guests that have donated some stuff, and we're going to be doing some giveaways of some cool Cowboy memorabilia. So make sure you guys stay tuned and subscribe, like, and share. So again, if you're watching on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, best way to support the channel is watching and supporting it on YouTube, because that's the best way to do it. And Mike, really appreciate it. What's up, Jimmy?
What happens when we hit 5,000 subscribers?
5,000 subscribers. That 5,000 subscribers is going to be the game that we're going to do the walkout. And I'm going to give my seats to somebody so you can walk out. That way I don't have to do it. But all kidding aside, when we get to 5,000 subscribers, I'm going to give 2 of my seats away. Club seats. It's you can't ask. I mean, they're nice seats. It's going to be a good time. We'll find a game that works well for everyone, but you have 2 seats. You could take your boy if you want. If you want to take Jimmy, have at it. You want to take Kelly. You want to take Doug. You want to take Troy. You want to take Cuts. You could take whoever the hell you want. You could tell us all to go to hell and take who you want, but they'll be yours when we get to 5,000 subscribers. We've got some work to do. We're hovering around 2,500, so we got to get some work going. But once we get to that, we'll be having a huge giveaway. When we get to 3,000, I got a Bob Lilly signed Funko Pop with a ton of inscriptions that he did. So we'll be giving that away too. So we got a lot of stuff, man. We giving back to the people that help us. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe. Follow us on all platforms. I'm very proud. I've been doing a little bit more on Instagram because there's a lot less hate than on some of these other platforms, but just surpassed 4,000 followers on Instagram. I mean, we're getting close to 20,000 on Twitter, 8,000 on TikTok, and so on. So we definitely appreciate the support to the channel, man. And to me, it means a lot. Sincerely, I'm just a fan, man. Love talking Cowboys. And also, you can see Jimmy and I, we talk some stories, man. We got a lot of history, Jimmy and I. We can tell he knows all the secrets of Mike Tag. He can share a lot of them. So it's a lot of fun.
And to Mike's point, you guys are the best. We love coming in. I mean, every Monday night, this is fun. You guys make it fun for us. We love interaction. Love when you break our balls, and we love just talking sports. Obviously, Cowboys and anything else, whether it's the stories or the Falcons or whatever else, and we appreciate it. And again, please, if you can jump on YouTube and subscribe, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah, we definitely do. So you guys enjoy it. I'm gonna go watch Below Deck and see what happens. And Jimmy, you take it easy. We'll be here again Thursday live. We got our guy Nick's coming in. We're going to do a draft show. We'll do a live mock draft during it. We'll have some good times. So make sure you guys check it out with Kelly and I. Have a good one. And Jimmy, you'll be proud of me. I finally updated our exit. I just got to do the intro for us, but I got the exit done. So can't yell at me no more. I'll see you. All right.
Give me somebody that's hungry. Give me somebody that's hungry. I need somebody.